So, how's it going? As visitors here, we're gonna talk about some art stuffs about UV wrapping and stuff like that. So, when I do explain this in the end, I'll show more about what I'm talking about, as in how everything gets wrapped and how everything gets textured in that sense. This is gonna be more of a texturing process that we're gonna be taking. So, go along for the ride. I'm about to show you what I'm talking about and happily hear the music that I put in. Hope you guys get the message behind that too. So we're just gonna put some up works up the potential works. All right, so let's check this out. Remember this character here? So there's a way to make this texture work in that sense, but the first process of doing this is to essentially look at a reference that can help you create that UV unwrapping. UV unwrapping is essentially just scanning the mesh. It allows you to create the textures afterwards. You don't do this first, you can't even texture at all. So let's look at this mesh I've created a while back, and we're going to press edit, and you're going to see something here very special. You see what's going on here? There are some edge loops that are actually there. You see that? One, so here. So whenever you create an edge loop like this, it's going to separate that mesh from outside the body itself. And then it's going to create separate UVs depending on which ones are needed to be textured in a very flat plane. So what the UV is, essentially, is the flatness of this mesh. So you see how it looks like that? The eyes here, the nose here, the mouth here, and even this part here goes to the mouth as well. Even this way as well too. When you look inside here, that's the same thing too. You see there's a neck here, and there's that part there that connects outside there too and there. So once we reference this in the end, we can technically do this. So we're going to bring these two in. Actually, we're going to put this here. And then we're essentially going to, well, it kind of looks kind of similar, but it's not that similar. So I'm going to put sculpt in here like that too. Just like that. Now we're press edit. So when you do this, there's a smart way to do this. Go in object and press your two models that you have referencing it. But since I'm doing this, I'll give you showing more to control what I'm doing. Now you click on both of them on edit. It'll allow you to look at this here and see where you're going to coordinate what you want. In this case, it's very similar, so you just have to find each part and disconnect it depending what you need. And here, we're going to put the eyes down here, here also, not to mention this part here also. And then we're going to put the mouth like this too, like that. And then we'll do this here and here. And that's this also. And here also. Here's the thing though, if it does this in the end, you don't have to worry too much. You just have to essentially take it out, depending what you do in that sense. Actually, no, it's more like this. Take it out like that, and then you slowly reference what you have here in that sense. In this case, it's not really connecting fully on that part of the side. In fact, it does something very similar here. So we're going to do this here, and we're going to connect that there, and here too. Now we're going to click on this, and here also, to get the edge loops done. Then you need to connect this kind of part here, like I stat here as well. And then you're going to disconnect the part here, disconnect the part here in that sense. And then disconnect that part here, disconnect part there. What I'm essentially doing is that I'm essentially trying to disconnect parts right, so that I can actually make the mesh like flow right. And see, now there's something like that in that way. And see, it's coming through all the way in that sense. Here's the thing though, you're not really supposed to do that fully until you're fully ready for that. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to disconnect this here, disconnect that in there and there. There we go. And then we're going to essentially, let's see what's going on here. Alright, so we technically got everything up and running. When we look at this, it does that too. Alright, now we can actually create mark seam. And since it marks seams like that, well, actually we forgot one thing. See, it's doing it over here, right? So we gotta do it here also. And then now we do mark seam. Now we can essentially do object and press edit and Control A, and then press UV, unwrap, angle based. Boom! Now it does that now. It separates the whole face like that, and it separates everything that you see here in that sense. But you see how I made a mistake here? Because I forgot one thing. It wasn't connected right, so you have to essentially connect things in a way where you're connecting it to specific points. So here is one issue I did was not put it here, and when I put it here, and then I make the mark seams here. I go back to UV, unwrap, and angle formations, and now it does this. So nonetheless, I did most what I was trying to do in that sense, right? So that's good. And then here, you look at this mesh here, does the same thing also. Yep, that's supposedly it, so, okay. So now we did this, right? Now we're gonna go look into the thing here, and we're going to essentially separate parts here into something more tangent. So we're gonna be putting the mesh like that. Now we're gonna try and UV this. Since they're all very low poly, you can essentially just do very simple smart UV projects. Smart UV projects is the idea of making the mesh or automatically doing it up the topology and just separate it into like a flat space. When you do that, it's gonna do this. So if it's simple enough, you don't have to do too much with it, but that will, we want key points when you try and create this in here. Then we'll go here, same thing, we'll do here and here in Smart UV projects. Here, press R, press like that, get that somewhere spaced out. And then we're gonna look at these two, we're gonna join them both. Press edit, Control A, unwrap, Smart UV project, and there we'll even out how it looks and designs out in that sense. Press that. Now for the eyes, press edit. Actually, join. Take that out. Oh, you see that? You see what happened here? So we're going to do mesh, separate loose parts, and we're going to click on these two. And we're going to press join, press edit, press Control A, UV unwrap. Or actually we're going to do Smart UV project. It's going to do that. Then you just separate that apart. So this whole place here is actually your map where you can essentially separate your mesh into a origami way of like flattening your piece. So this is how we can start texturing it. So this will be a good process to know about. So take notes on that. So now we'll do the same thing here. Since everything here is very simple or similar, it's gonna do something very simple on the thing here. See that? If it's not as simple, you can do it angular and still does the same thing. But more or less, this is just similar in that sense. Now we have everything up, so we're gonna just Control A and like this. So the reason why we're doing this like this is to show that we can put all the parts together when we're making this. So let's try to edit this. Alright, so we're gonna put this somewhere else. Or no, we're gonna put this over here and put that there. So I'm gonna put this, and then I'm gonna put everything all back together. After this, I'll show you how to rig this in the end. There's a way to rig it, but since we're living in this generation, there's other ways to do these kinds of things too. So now we're going to press this, press edit, Control A. Now we see all of this, right? The reason why I separated it like that is that it would be easier for me to essentially put the pieces and spacing right. That essentially allows me to essentially render it without doing too much with the spacing. As in, if you do it without spacing it out first, you're essentially going to make it all convoluted. So you have to organize it first before you do so, or else it's going to be very, very funny when you see it. So that's what I'm just trying to say, but that varies depending on what you see. So yeah, there we go. And then we'll put this like that, and boom, we have our character. And just like that, now you see that. All right. So technically, we could technically go here, join all, and see there. All right. I'm gonna be kind of honest right now. I did this UVing already, but I wanted to show you in real time to show what's going on. So before this happens, we're gonna put this character into a rigging system called Mixamo, and Mixamo will allow you to auto rig it in a very simple way of putting things together. So we're gonna put this in OBJ, put selection only, object groups, and then we're gonna documents, we'll put this here. Now check the window up. We're gonna create a new window, and then we're going to press this on, properties, and then we're gonna just find a here. Alright. See? Now we're going to do a give me a second. Alright, different song. Okay, now you know what kind of songs I look at. I'm sorry for being this guy, so sorry about that. So we look at the YouTube page to get that music up and running. Sorry, I don't get bored or feeling lacking. This is the tool that I use for rigging. So as you can tell, I already rigged this already. But just in case, we're going to show how we do it. Go to upload character, character select file, and then we're going to go into documents. We're going to find our character that we created, or we click on this here, and then click on details. And well, you don't see it here right now, but I'm trying to find that file, and then it's going to upload. So yeah. While this is happening, I'm also going to show you the other character based the other version of this I've created, because I did this 2 times. This is the second time, but there's another time I did this. So we're gonna look at this, and we're gonna save this, and yep, that's the character I've created. You see? So this is more of what happens when you rig it in that sense. This is more or less the direct version of the character. So we're gonna look at this, and then we're gonna just put that face like that, put that face like this, just like that. Just like that. And like that, like that, like that, just like that. So now you know. So technically what I'm doing is I'm just refining it. But now when you see it, now you understand now that you can use the rigging system to the next step. And this is where I made a mistake. You see, if it looks like that, that means your character is too big or not in the origin point. So the reason I show that is to show you what you do and what you do not do. The first way I did it is what you do not do. So we're gonna save this for later. This is what is gonna become in that sense. We're gonna Control S. We're gonna go back to the mesh that we created. And okay, so this character, right? We have this one here, right? We're gonna go put this all the way back in the origin point. which is this point here. F is to focus, put your focus on the right spot. And I think it's because it's way too big, right? If it's too big, you have to essentially make it smaller, or big enough, or smaller. Press W, and we put this here. And then let's edit. Okay, now everything's good. So, Control A, we're gonna export. And then we're essentially going to object, so yeah. Selection only, object groups, and character test blend. We're gonna put this at E. And then when it happens and it uploads, we can actually use this character file. You don't see the thing here, but I have it nonetheless. So now we're gonna do this again. So is it selecting all of it? No, it's not. So we're gonna select this. And it's gonna load up again, so yeah. Now we're gonna go all the way back here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's save this. Look at that, you can make a mean face. Okay. So when all this is happening, let me showcase this armature system. This is just a very basic armature system and very, very basic. It teaches the fundamentals of just moving things like an action figure. Because it is like an action figure nonetheless when you try to configure it and move it around. Okay, now we have the rigging done now. Not rigging done, but we have the setup done. So now we're going to essentially do something here, and we're going to press next. This will, actually give me a second. This will allow us to essentially put the dots back in. So like this, for example, we're gonna put this over here. And put the wrist here. And we'll put the elbows here. And then put the knees here. So this is gonna identify where the armature and bones are gonna pop in. Just like that. And then press use symmetry. And then we press like that. Just like that. Just like this also. Then press next. Once it happens, it's gonna rig nonetheless. So once we go back here, once we go back here, now you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. It's gonna create the rig that we see here, as in it's gonna show what is being shown and designed. And this is just the character render and rig. So like that, just like that. And then we just do like this and like this. There we go, and press this. Check that out. Actually, no, we're gonna take these two out. And this is what will probably be becoming in the tool set. So now you know. So our next step is to texture this. So I'll show you how I would personally texture this in that sense. And it shouldn't be too hard. It's gonna be a fun process, so yeah. You see what's going on the left screen here? It's showing what we can do when it comes into rigging. So this is a very easy process because we have multiple rigging tools we can use to rig things nonetheless. So yeah. So there. this here. Oh, you see that? I made a mistake here. Alright, cool. Now I'm gonna do this. Alright, cool. You see our character here now is technically rigged. So this is our process when you rig something. You use Mixamo, you connect the chin, wrist, everything else, and then you press next, and this will give you an option to download. You download that, and you press T-pose, and that will allow you to create your automatic rig. This is a very new school way to do so, by the way. So yeah. All right, we got that. Now we're gonna take the screen off, and we're gonna go back to File, Import, and press FBX, and we're gonna Downloads, and we're gonna press this, Import FBX, and that will allow us to make our character just like that. And this is our character here. You see the difference between these two characters is that this one has a different face, and this one has more of a younger face. You see that? This one more has a longer face, so depending which one you choose could imply something in that sense. But let's choose this one for now. But if not, now you know. And this armature works very similar to the one we had in this one too. Very similar, and you can see how to move our things here, just like that, and just like that. Now you know. So, if we could choose to do so, we're gonna start doing the texturing painting in its sense next time, or if we could do it now, we could do it now. So here, so now we're gonna find my Substance Painter program, and now we're gonna start creating some sick textures for our project. So yep. I'm gonna change the music for a bit. And we're going to do here. All right, so let me get my application for this. Now I want to get my. So now we're gonna start doing the cool concept called Substance Painter. This is the wrong one. This is the one. All right, cool. We're gonna be using this software to essentially. What is it even? Oh, give me a second. Oh, all right. It's not really closing, huh? All right. Give me a second. Properties and automatic moves 10s and up. All right, cool. We fixed it. Awesome. Now we're going to show you what I'm talking about. So we have this thing here and here too. All right, cool. So this is essentially my application where I texture my art in that sense. I also have expertise in 3D codes to some extent and some professional understanding of Photoshop texturing too. So I'll dabble with some 3D codes and dabble with some Budbox, similar strategy in concept creation. So let me move my camera view somewhere else. Now we're gonna press Follow New here. This is an entirely different system. It's meant for texturing your art. So think of it like 3D Photoshop in that sense. So we're gonna press New. Press 4K textures. now we're gonna press downloads and click on, well, actually, just in case, I'm gonna do something else. So I forgot one thing. When you do this in the end, you supposedly need something else, and I think that is, since we're using this face mesh here, we have to use this one. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to just pose, go playback, dope sheet, action editor, and this one here, I'm gonna make a new one. Delete all of these. I'm going to clear user transforms, and then I'm going to put this back up here like that, and press this copy, and I'm going to export as an FBX. When you export as an FBX, you're essentially going to how should I say this? You're going to essentially, what's going on here? Oh, I did it wrong way. So you're essentially going to export as FBX to keep the armature systems and the selected objects, so it gives you more options to save. Since this has already been rigged, you need to keep the rig there just in case anything happens. And then we're going to place this in here, and we're going to press select. So change this into standard Unity. Unity render pipeline. Oh, okay, so give me a second. Alright, cool. So we're gonna do this. And do this here. Select, and then you're gonna go into, since the place mine here, it's gonna do that. And press OK. Okay, now we got our character here, right? So, oh, give me a second. There. You see, we have our character here in that sense. So remember, go to New, go to here, make your 4K texture, and then you're gonna go into here, open it. Okay, discard this, and this is the exact same thing. So now we're going to use our painting tools here. So you use Substance Painter as a painting way of painting things. Think of all of these as like color palettes. In Photoshop terms, it's the color wheel, or in Photoshop terms, these are the swatches that you're going to use to create your painting in that sense. And this is our canvas that we're using. So okay, we're going to go and use our first step in doing this is to use a base form here. So we create the thing here. We wanted to essentially use this cube here to do mesh form, and that does that. So if I do it like this, you can do it like that. So we have something like this, right? So since we're choosing a different color, I recommend using something a little more brighter in that sense. So we're gonna use something like this, or in that way like this. This is kind of like a indigo blue in that sense. There we go. Now I'm gonna press this, press that color here, and press that, and well, since it looks a little bit too common, we need something to calm the base, so we're gonna try and use this. I'm gonna press the color here, and then that will be our color next. So we're gonna put that over here, and then we're gonna press black mask, and then we're gonna press this here, and that's gonna be happening like this too. You see that? So now we have something here we could use. So this is gonna be our clothing set, or let's our base clothing set that we're gonna use, and we're gonna fill this. So this tool is actually like a Photoshop tool, but in 3D. So you're actually able to use this as a canvas and paint over the steps you want. It was pretty powerful for its sense. It is also very similar to Mudbox, 3D coats, and Photoshop to some extent, even soft image XSI softwares. you name it, you call it. And those softwares are very similar to this nonetheless. But this is more powerful because these things have more options and more versatility in terms of texturing, which gives you the more control over what you're trying to texture through each setting and properties. So this is much more of an engineering format in creativity. And you have to understand how to click on things and how to render it the right way too. So, but that's depending on your skill set nonetheless. So you got to practice more of that until you create that in that sense. So yes. So we kind of created this. Now we're gonna create the. If we're gonna do something very similar in like design, we're gonna be using another mask here, and we're gonna make this one here. Let's say. Actually, no. We're gonna make this a white mask. Or make it a black mask. And we're gonna make the shoes here a little bit darker, or like that. And then we're gonna try and kind of looks kind of odd, so I want to add in something a little more cooler. So we're gonna try and use a little bit of a red color in that sense. So we're gonna be using some cool red colors nonetheless. And this will show more the emphasis in the color designing. So we're gonna press this, press that and that. Just like that, like that. So you're just trying to cover it up and just paint over it. Which is essentially the beauty of this program that we're using. It's a very suitable program for 3D rendering and texturing. So yeah. So now our next step is to actually try and essentially paint something out of this and render it right. So yeah, give me a second. Alright, cool. So now we're gonna try and like add in details to it. So for example, we can try and like see how we're doing this here. So like that. Just like that. Just like that. And we're just trying to do this here. Okay, and now we're gonna try and design this like that. See how we're doing it? We're gonna try and do this somewhere here too. This is gonna give us clean edges, but we're also trying to decorate our character clothings nonetheless. Just like this, and just like this, and this. Slowly but surely, you'll be able to gain something from this. And that will give you that insight on how to create the flow of the character nonetheless. Just like that. I'll just slow it down a little bit. Just like that. You see how I'm doing it here? I'm essentially trying to paint it all in that sense. So when you press shift in that sense, when you press shift and use this, it's a diagonal tool or a line tool. That gives you more control over what you're painting, so that way you don't end up over painting on the wrong stuffs. So it's a very good way to essentially clear up your work nonetheless. Just like that, just like that, just like that, just like that, just like this. just like that. And we're gonna try and color this too, just like that. Like this too, here and here and here, and just like that too. Alright, cool. Now we got ourselves a different stylized or styled character form. This is just my own way of doing this. Now we're going to put this here also. So check this out. Since it's a very cool painting tool, we can essentially create the essentials for it. So we can create this and use that to create our tool. A tool will essentially our clothes sets like this. And then we can essentially just put that over there, just like this. There, just like this. Now let's just do this here and just like this too. Just like this too. Here too, like that also. Here also too. Now I'm gonna create things here too, just like that, that. Cool. Now we have this like totally created. We can also do something with the fabric here, and then we're gonna try and cover it like that also. Just like that. Just like that. Actually not like that yet. So, oops. There's something else behind this too. So, this is only the base way of doing this, but there's another way we can add more detail to this. And it's all gonna come from using this thing called letter stylize. But before we do this, we're gonna create the skin texture. Find skin human simple. You put this all the way at the very bottom. It's gonna activate this. But since it looks kind of like that and look kind of weird and kind of creepy or disgusting, you're going to have to take out the dots out, you're going to take out the surface skin out, and top color we're going to keep. Now it looks something like that, right? Now what we have to do is press add black skin, which takes away the color. White skin will, or white mask will bring the color in. And now it does this now. You see that? Boom. Now I got this thing done. So now we're going to start creating a stylized texture here. So when we do this in the end, we have to put that there. And, well, more or less it's going to be meant for the hair, but vice versa, we're going to add black mask. And then we're going to find your UV map where our hairstyle is, which is everything here. That's just drag and drop there. Does this. And then we're also going to cover all of this up nonetheless. Cover all of that up, 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 cover all of that up. Cover all of this up too. So just like that. This up. now I'm gonna go and we're gonna start creating the eyes. Go here and create a add layer, and then I'm gonna press add black mask. Click on this, and then our color is gonna be very distinct, but in this case I'm gonna add a white mask. So we're gonna click on the specific color for this. So you have to go here, and then that's gonna show. Oh, give me a second. It's going to show you what color colors you want. So our base color has to be somewhere in this color here, which will be our style for our painting style. And then this is going to give us the way to paint this in the end. Just like that. Give me a second. There it is. I thought so. So you have to do it all like this, and let's see, chlorophyll, and you can take that and does that now. So if you go back here, grayscale, and then you try and change the coloring here also. Try and change the color here. So you click on that, and you try and click like this. Click on that and that. Then you can start changing the colors here again, and now you can add in the eye colors if you wish to do so. Since we already have something already carved out, we can essentially just put the black here in that sense. And that will allow us to essentially paint that in that sense. So this here. Just like that. Just like that. Just like this. There we go. And then we're going to create a texture like this. Do texture like this. Like this and this. Like this and this. And then we're going to create the thing here. Well, see, I made a mistake. It doesn't work really well in that case, but works better on the eyelids nonetheless. So you can just put the eyelids like that. Just like that. And just like this too. And we're going to start erasing parts of it here also, because that does not match at all. It's what we're trying to do in that sense. Or we can change the color here again. Click on the color. And then we're going to press that color from here. Or that color from here. And we'll just apply a color. Erase parts of that in that sense. Alright, so yeah, now you guys understand what I'm talking about. So that's just a test. So now we're gonna just go back here, and now we're gonna just color it the correct way, just like that. If it's doing that, then that means the map is kind of off, but it's fine. We can just do it like this. There we go. Create the eye here as well. And I'm going to press this here. Yep, we're going to do it here also. Give me a second. Alright, there we go. Cool. Now our eyes are done right. And we can also erase this part here. But since we did it mostly right, now we can essentially add in the other components. But let's try and add some here. Let's try and add some here. And then we can also add in the eyebrows too. Brows here, like that. Oh, there we go. And we're gonna make our eyes a little bit more purple this time. So I want to make this like that. Purple like that. Put some blue here, like that. And then make this brighter here. Just like that. Then we can go back to black here and make the eyelids here like that, like that. Just like that. And the opacity stroke, like that. And then we can just try and like that. Making the nose darker here. Or we're gonna make it like this, make it like this also. There we go. Now you see what's going on, right? So also to try and add some dark here too. Make some darkness here. Cool. So here's a special thing about this. This is not complete yet because we forgot to add in the texturing for the pants and armor, right? So we're gonna make this here, and we're gonna make base color of dark purple or dark like this, like that. The curvature will be maybe light blue in that sense. And then we're going to use letter stylize, let's put that. We'll place this as replace, and then we're going to essentially do this for almost all the things here. But we're gonna decrease that color like that, and just something like this. And now you see. So now you look at that kind of color, and you kind of start to realize how it kind of is kind of too bright and blue. So we're gonna try, or indigo. So we're gonna try and find that color again, and we're gonna try and make it a little bit in that kind of color. There we go. So now we have this now. Now you see this, we have some things here that we can add some details to. So in this case, we could technically want to try and this, and I'm gonna press black mask, and now we're gonna use this thing here that's gonna look at each UV that we do, like that. Actually, more like this, this, not this, and this. Actually, not that. Just this. Oh, never mind. So you may have to do this one step at a time, but that will allow you to focus on this. So we're gonna take out these two. And I want to just focus on each part here. Just do it one step at a time. No rush. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Take that out. Do this again. Texture there and there, there and there, there, and there. And take this out. Alright, looks like that's done. Now for this one, so I guess we can do something like this. Here two, here two. Here, two, here two, and I'm gonna take this out, and I'm just gonna keep doing this. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. Just like that. There we go, just like that. There we go, we're gonna take this off, put that to white mask again. Alright, cool, we got that covered. Now I'm gonna click on this, spread that over there and there. Click on that, spread there, there, and over there. Spread that there. That, just like that, just like that. just like that. Okay, so now we got our character kind of up and running in that sense. So now we're going to do a baking in that sense. So baking is when your textures get fully rendered into that from low poly to high poly, so the textures get transferred into the mesh itself. So we're gonna try to do that right about now. It's gonna give us this side place here. Let's do 4096. If you got the right machine for this, use that. If not, I recommend using a 2K texture instead. So now I'm gonna use this character, or oh yeah, it's this character. And now we're going to do let it wait. It's gonna wait for a bit, so yeah. Now we're gonna bake the textures and just check how it works out in the end. So yeah. Alright, now it's been textured. We're gonna go back, and now it's gonna do something like this. You see that? Now the character kind of looks kind of cool in that sense. Okay, we're probably gonna fix the face afterwards, but for now, I think this works pretty well, so we're gonna look at layers, and then you can turn this off, and it looks like that. But because there's some there's like a curvature for it, it looks kind of off, so the cavity, you turn it off, or a darker touch, it will do something like this. You can also make this look brighter if you want, so we're going to color to this. You see how it works like that? So right now it looks kind of plastic based, so we can probably just take this out. And now it looks like this now because of it. So yeah. Regardless, a new character nonetheless, and this is how you render and create a texture and stylize it nonetheless. So we're going to try and export the textures. We're going to export the textures, and then we're going to go and use Universal Render Pipeline. It's metallic standard. We're going to go to ski, and we're going to go into, let's see, we're going to make a new file, and we're going to create custom character for here. Let's select folder, and now we're going to export this using these settings here. This is what the settings are going to give us. The output's more or less this in the end. So now we're going to export, and that's now it's going to start. So, alright, now it's been exported. Now we can save this for later. And we can say save as custom character project. Alright, we got our thing saved. So now we can put this in save mode. And this is where we're going to return back into, let's see, where it's number 2, Blender, there we go. So now, I want to show you how the textures are going to be placed here in the end, so, let's see. But first, before we do this, we're going to fix something, this character shape we have here. It looks good, right? But the face looks a little bit too big. So the best way to fix this is to essentially like slowly fix it and like tinker a bit nonetheless. So we do this and we just do that as well. this too. Just like that. And here we're going to try and, or if you're smart, you can actually just fix it like that, but if you don't, you can press scope and just increase that and just put that over there like this. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. And then we're going to do this here. Press here, W. Find those two things here. And we're going to just say objects in order to geometry. The eye sockets like that. Alright, cool. We got our things here. Now we're going to try and add in the texture. So go to shading mode. And then we're going to press this, press new. And now we're going to press add texture, image texture. Since we created our own images for this texture, we can now add that texture into this. And check this out. Boom, now it creates that. Create hourly roughness and changing the roughness depending what you want. So in this case, we're just gonna make it like this and just like yeah, just like that. All right, cool. Copy this, and we're going to do this part here too. Just like that, and make this a little bit darker. Just like this, just like that. Copy, new, Control V, same procedure. Now I'm going to create this here, create that, and here too. And same for the shoes also. But for the shoes, it's going to be a little bit different because we're also going to add in some metallicness to it. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to try and do this. So we're going to Control C and V this, and just open, refine metallic smoothness. Add that to metallic, add that to roughness too. So let's take that out and just put it in roughness. And I think that's metallic smoothness too. So if that doesn't work right, you can just like try and fix the setting here. And just find roughness just like that. So Control C, Control V, same thing. I'm just gonna try to make this a bit darker like that. Like that too. Alright. And then add into these two eyes here. Add that just like that. The thing here and roughness like that. And this here, Control V. Roughness like that. Oh, you see there's a problem here? So if you see a problem like that, we're going to try and press texture paint. And speaking of which, if you see a problem like this, don't worry too much. Always fix those things here, and then you can just cover it up. If it's too not that bright, brighten up a little bit. Just like just like that. Press object. Now we're gonna click on the textures here, and just press this. And I'm going to press new, Control V, and press this. Okay, that doesn't work like that, right? So for this case, this is going to be a very good example of me doing this, but if you make a mistake like this, just go through the process, just color each thing right, like just like that. So 0.37. All right. So Control C and V. All right. Now just put that there. 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 There and there. Just like this, put that, put that stair, put that there, just stair, put that there. Just like this. Simple process, one step at a time. Give me a second. Here we go. So where did this at?
How do you know the Muji style?
All right.
Fate is a fascinating thing. The Muji style would be something that I alone am the master of. There's no escaping that it's your destiny to die by my hand.
Since it is destiny, let's begin this. I'd like to see what the hand of God is all about.
Gladly. I've been sitting idle now for far longer than I would have liked.
There we go. And there it is. And I want to make the chin better, so we're going to do this. And we're going to make the chin like this. Just like that. Just like this, too. And like that, just like this. There we go. Now I just put this size like that. There we go. Now, since we finished this in the end, right? Now we're gonna go try and do a render system. Now, use Hydrostorm. It's gonna look like this, right? But if we use Eevee, it looks like that, right? So let's go back to shading. We're gonna go into Hydrostorm. And we're gonna fix the eyes for a bit. So just this. Change the eye settings like that. One five. We go back to that. Looks like that. So you can also use ray tracing too. So you see it looks very different because of it too. Then you can click on Light Pro or Screen Trace. The screen tracing does these specific movements and designs to create the lighting for it. Since we use ambient occlusion as that, but global illumination is this. With ambient occlusion, you can see more control over what you're lighting into, more steps you create, and more it renders like that. And then precision like that, steps here. Distance, we're gonna create more of that distance here, like that. Far, things like that. Biases. Alright, so we do light probe, this, that, same thing, so yeah. But with global illumination, there's not really much of a difference. So this is what your character is going to look like when you actually finish it, nonetheless. So. Alright, and we'll fix this too. There we go. This here, like that. And there you go. We got ourselves a good character nonetheless. Now back to layout, and that's our character now. See how it looks now? Very realistic and hyper rendered. Same for this one too. And even here too. Here too. And there you go. Got ourselves a sick character. We're gonna probably take this one out because we don't need it right now. But overall, that's our character we've created. So, thank you for viewing this awesome session. And thank you for seeing how this character plays out. Also, one thing we do before we do this. There we go. And we go on here. That. Alright, and then we're gonna make our character walk around and just animate. So our next session will be based on animating this character and actually making it actually do some cool action design concepts too. This is probably my coolest character I've created. One of my best ones so far. head was like that too. So we created what we have created. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for having such a fun time with me reviewing this as well too. You see this happening? Not to worry, we can talk more about that later on, but this is our overall character nonetheless. Actually, let's fix that. Just put that over here and here. There we go. And now we're ourselves a cool character to use. What a fun thing to do. And I'll just fix this also. And now we have such a cool character we can look at. He's actually saying bye. Next video, we're going to be talking about how to animate this and make this into a fighting character nonetheless. Well, before that happens, we're going to make this. Essentially put this up here. And now you see what happens here? We have created our overall sick character design nonetheless. Check it, you see how it's working like that? And yeah, thanks for viewing this game character with me, and thank you for viewing how this character looks overall. Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for viewing this. Catch you later. Visit this out. See ya.